now of when you can sell with you about what today, and yeah, my Abrefa, and I also expect you about a word. And then, and I am 40 years and a year, and when you go access, and you find that we are Yamini, it was to see the people, and the other food in a MHA, about international conference center, and the other what I am attached, and they also far over Abrefa Busia, and the Russian for my Ghana, and they everybody give a good in us, never and the food in us, and so it's me.
Wait, I just changed you. Are you some of my time?
We say welcome to you, Excellencies, Vice President, and your lovely wife. A son honors his father, a slave his master. If I be your father, where is my honor? Malachi 1 verse 6. And this is how I say good evening to you, the President of the Republic, the Vice President of the Republic, Honorable Ministers of State, Members of Parliament, the Royal Highnesses, Members of the Council of State, Elders of the New Patriotic Party, the Dumbo, Dankwa, Busia families, members of the clergy, executives of the MPP, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this very remarkable evening. It is in celebration of the legacy of the second Prime Minister of the Republic of Ghana, the late Dr. Kofi Abrefa Busia. I am, by the grace of God, Jerry Ajololo, and it's with great humility and a healthy sense of privilege that I stand before you as your master of the ceremony. I crave your support and your cooperation to ensure a very smooth and impactful event. Today, we honor our father, a celebrated academic and politician, one considered an embodiment of local democracy, who, although had a short spell at the helm of this nation's administration, today stands vindicated by verifiable testimonies we're about to hear. It is particularly appropriate that we have today, as our guest of honor, a man well acquainted with our father and who shares in his conviction and courage. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome, in the typical Dankwa Busia Dumbo tradition, the President of the Republic, Nana Addo Dankwa Akuffo. We're honored to have you, sir. With us is a man of like nature as Dr. K.A. Busia, who enjoys a wonderful temperament and character. He's the Vice President of the Republic, Alhaji Dr. Muhammadu Bawumia. We recognize with gratitude his lovely wife, Her Excellency Mrs. Samira Bawumia. This evening, we also acknowledge with gratitude the leadership of Parliament, the Speaker of the Parliament of the Republic of Ghana, the Right Honourable Reverend Professor Aaron Mike Okwe. And he's joined here also by his lovely wife, Mrs. Okwe, if you may, round of applause. He's oozing with eternal charm and grace, as always, ladies and gentlemen, the second President of the Fourth Republic, His Excellency Mr. John Akuffo. We also joined this evening by the MP for Suami, who is the majority leader of the Parliament of Ghana, and the Minister for Parliamentary Affairs, ladies and gentlemen, the Honourable Osechi Mensah. In a very rare appearance, in a very long time, she comes to us adorned with charm and grace. Ladies and gentlemen, the mother of our party, please make welcome Madame Busia. Welcome you warmly, Mom. This evening we're joined by an impressive retinue of chiefs and queen mothers I would like to acknowledge now. We recognize the Omahine of Asokore traditional area, Nana Dr. S.A.B. Asante. Also in the company of our revered traditional ruler is the Osiewo Hine Dasebre Nyakun Asumedu Apea. Nana is also in the company of the Asama Kesihine or Sabarima Eduda on the second. I shall now defer a number of acknowledgements and make mention of them in the course of this event. In introducing our chairperson for this lovely encounter, I'm pleased to call up here a distinguished young Ghanaian woman who is well suited to perform this role, giving a unique role and position as the first grandchild of our late departed father. Please make welcome Mrs. Mercy Hammer.
Your Excellency, President Nana Addo Akuffo, President of the Republic of Ghana, Your Excellency Vice President Alhaji Baumia, and Her Excellency Second Lady, Madam Samira, Your Excellency former President John Akuffo, our own right Honorable Speaker of Parliament, Professor Mike Iron Okwe, distinguished members of the Council of State, Your Excellencies, members of the Diplomatic Corps, Honorable Ministers of State and members of Parliament, Nanano, Nime, Name, leaders of parties represented here, leaders of religious organizations and civil society, champions of business, captains of industry, young people, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, all protocol observed. Today, we are gathered here to pay homage to a patron, great father, my grandfather, an intellectual, a religious man, and political icon of our generation. We thank you so very much for making time to join us. Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, it is with great pleasure that I ask you to join me to usher in the august chairman for this important celebration. He is one of the great sons of the land, a distinguished personality, leader, a man of many parts who has left his mark on the historical calendar of this great nation. He is a family man, qualified as a lawyer and became a politician early in life. He served as the youngest minister during the tenure of the Busia government of the Second Republic. He was also the opposition leader during the Third Republic and won critical elections in the years 2000 and 2004 when he became president in the Fourth Republic. During his tenure, the country made significant progress in the pursuit of good governance, modernization of Abrefa for rural development, private sector participation, enhanced access to social services and infrastructure development. These were focused on promoting socio-economic development for all Ghanaians. On the international arena, our chairman played many key roles at regional and global levels and became chairperson of the African Union in 2007 to 2008. Since completing his term of office in 2008, he has remained very active in many capacities. Notable among them, ladies and gentlemen, is the seminal Akuffo Foundation, which was founded and established in 2011. Out of this endeavor, I am happy to acknowledge the seminal John Akuffo Center for Leadership, Governance and Development of the University of Ghana and the Akuffo Presidential Library Museum at the University of Science and Technology in Kumasi. Additionally, he has laid a solid foundation to sponsor youth leadership development programs that target and grooms young people in our universities to adopt and embrace entrepreneurial leadership for the accelerated development of Ghana. Ladies and gentlemen, our chairperson is also an award winner of no mean repute and is currently the first chancellor of the University of Mines and Technology based in Tapa. Suffice it to add that just this last week, he has again been honored with one of the highest country awards in Liberia by President George Okonjo, for which we share in his joint commendation. With a resounding round of applause, please join me to welcome His Excellency, John
just introduced me, piled a number of achievements on me. I want to tell you the seeds for the achievement, where I can say with confidence that they were all sowed under the patronage of this man, Professor Busia. If you are talking democracy, if you are talking upholding of human rights, if you are talking of respect for private initiative and the entrepreneurial spirit, all those things were there in the 1950s when I first saw him. And his love for the rural parts, because he was the leader of the National Liberation Movement, NLM, whose slogan was Cocoa, Cocoa. He for traditionalism too. Of course, he was a royal, so it shouldn't come as a surprise for his championing the integrity and preservation of our traditional value systems. 1950s, before I even went to secondary school, I had seen this man, and these were things he was advocating. And in the 50s, even before, or perhaps actually I was in my early parts of my teenage period. So I was very impressionable, and I followed this man. I saw a bit of Dr. Dapra, but I couldn't get close to him. But Professor Busia, I got close to. That's how, in 1960, during his exile days at Leiden University in Holland, and I was then in London, he came and referred me to go to Oxford. So the seeds that the government I led came to harvest for our country, I can say, were all planted under the patronage of the man we are about to celebrate today. And therefore, your invitation to me to take the chair comes to me as a very pleasurable duty, which I accept with both hands. And I pray that the proceedings will go on to a very successful conclusion today. So thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen, our chairperson, the second president of the Fourth Republic, His Excellency, Mr. John Akuffo. How about another round of applause? We appreciate you, Tema Youth One. Ladies and gentlemen, to introduce to you a nephew of our late father, who is the CEO of the Driver Vehicle and Licensing Authority, DVLA, and who through the efficient deployment of technology is revolutionizing this great organization of ours. Please make welcome Mr. Kofi Busia for the welcome.
Mr. Chairman, His Excellency the President, Addo, Akuffo, Right Honorable Michael Kofi, Speaker of Parliament, His Excellency the Vice President, Her Excellency the Second Lady of the Republic, Mrs. Samira Bawumia, Honorable Cabinet Ministers and Deputy Ministers, Honorable Members of Parliament, members of the Diplomatic Corps, and other distinguished leaders of our country, Most Reverend Asantiechi, members of the clergy, distinguished statesmen, Honorable C.K. Tedam and K.G. Osei-Bonsu, men who have the singular privilege to have served with Dr. Busia, the lady that most of us in the MPP family have the privilege to call mother, the brave and resilient current matriarch of the Busia family, Honorable Ama Busia, members of the MPP family, members of the Busia family, students across the country, members of the media, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Busia Institute for Rural and Democratic Development and the Busia family, I welcome you to this magnanimous and historical remembrance of this exceptionally gifted and remarkable human being. We are deeply honored by your presence here today. It is also a great honor to welcome you to the event and provide context and a quick summary of the works of the man we celebrate today. Dr. Busia's works and legacy have often been categorized into two broad areas, namely his renowned academic achievements as a professor, researcher, educationist, lecturer, and teacher, and secondly, as a trailblazer for true democracy and his commitment to freedom and liberty, the rule of law, and a democratic welfare state in which everyone is his brother's keeper. In my humble opinion, the tie that binds these two disciplines that he pursued with dignity and remarkable distinction is simply his fear of God and his love of humanity. That link is fundamental to the premise and the promise of his legacy. As an example, at age 26, in a letter to a friend, S.K. Num, Dr. Busia said, "I have always felt it a duty laid upon me by God to pursue knowledge, and I'm glad to have achieved something that my countrymen may be proud of." He goes on later in the same letter to say, "My great purpose is to study all I can, and then when the time comes, to pour out my life in the service of God and country. Learning without God is empty. Knowledge is useless unless it makes us better servants of humanity." Unquote. An exploration of Dr. Busia's work will therefore reveal a continuation of the journey started by others before him, including his personal mentor, Jesus Christ. Lucian, a Chinese novelist, accurately captures this kind of continuation and telemetaphor when he says in his book, My Old Home. In it he says, "For actually the earth had no roads to begin with, but when many men pass one way, the road is made." In this instance, Dr. Kofi Busia not only carved his way on his political and academic journeys and made a road for all of us, he also left us with guideposts and clear written road signs, not to mention distinguished road engineers such as Victor Usu, Joseph Henry Mensah, Redford Reynolds and Consa, William Koforata, Simon Jordan Dombo, Jato Kali, Abrefa, B.K. Adam, Kwame Safwadu, John Akuffo, and many more. I believe history will continue to judge these noble men and others like them as candles who selflessly consume themselves in order to light our path. With his distinct clarity of our love and dignity for his fellow man, everything Dr. Busia did could be interpreted through that prism. For example, it explains why he left the comfort of his academic pursuits, where he was literally on top of his career and in demand all over the world, to enter into politics. One can surmise that he drew inspiration from the story of the Good Samaritan on the Jerusalem-Jericho road. You remember Levi's question, if I stop to help this man, what would happen to me? Then came the Good Samaritan. He reversed the question. If I do not stop to help this man, what would happen to him? That is the question all of us should ask. If Kofi Abrefa Busia had not stopped to help his country in our quest for democracy, what would have happened to us? If he had continued to spend his time in the safe cloisters of knowledge at Oxford, at The Hague, North America, and traveled the world to share and impart knowledge, what would have happened to his countrymen? What would have happened to Africa's search for democracy? It is this same love for humanity that manifested itself in his flagship rural development program that provided new beginning and benefits for modernization for those whose hard work and toil behind the scenes built universities, built secondary schools and hospitals in the big cities. His focus on rural development was only a real promise of equity for the poor. It was also a call to conscience. His comprehensive vision balances moral justice with economic justice. In a tribute to Dr. Busia, His Excellency Justice Akuffo said, by all standards, Busia ranked with the most learned. The most learned people do not as a rule make good politicians. Busia certainly appeared to be the exception, and that was a result of the deep concern he had for fellow citizens, unquote. It is that same deep Christian concern for the welfare and dignity of his fellow man that led to his conviction, even when he was in power and wielded power in 1969 to say, and I quote, power is good or evil according to the vision it serves. Our vision is that of a democratic welfare society in which everyone is his brother's keeper. One cannot help but see the clear union he sought, what is primarily spiritual, but yet powerfully political. And so to Kofi Busia, power should be exercised with restraint and without arrogance. And that love for humanity is a salute to individual dignity. And so while I know they are detractors, while I genuinely respect their point of view in a democracy, I humbly say without equivocation, if Kofi Busia is wrong, then the Constitution of the Republic is wrong. If Kofi Busia is wrong, then our democracy is wrong. If he is wrong, then perhaps the teachings of kindness, respect, and humility in the Holy Book are wrong. And so while we breathe, we will always celebrate him. And even as we miss him, we have hope in the eternal legacy of his vision, generously bequeathing books that he wrote and the word he spoke for generations to come. For the millennials who are here today, I especially welcome you and also say to you that to study the history, to allow Dr. Busia's example and legacy to be a guidepost and a vessel of inspiration, to judge yourself by not what you are willing to give, but judge yourself by what you are willing to give back to your country, in service, in humility, and in truth. As I conclude, I would like to make an observation. When all is said and done about the man Kofi Busia, when you put aside his gift of academic brilliance and deep intellect, when you set aside his love of humanity and his fear of God, when you overlook his wisdom, his courage, and humility in politics, when you explain away his sacrifices, his goodness to his country, and to his political and academic families, when you do all that, you are soon left with a beautiful human soul who at the age of 26 knew his surroundings, knew himself, and was determined to make a contribution to his country's betterment. So he spoke those words with absolute certainty and humility. My great purpose is to study all I can, and then when the time comes, to pour my life in the service of my God and country. The last governor of the then Gold Coast, Earl of Liverpool, said this about Dr. Busia. I often think his smile is the key to his character, which lets his whole face and radiated the natural goodness and kindness of the heart that lay behind it. Unquote. Busia knew that the true measure of his impact on others will be his sacrifice and selflessness, and that the mind is the standard of a man. Again, on behalf of the Institute and the Busia family, I welcome you to this program. We are very grateful for your presence, for your time, and your participation. Thank you. Thank you. I have another duty to perform. Next on the program is an opportunity to hear Dr. Busia in his own words. Hear Dr. Busia on the campaign trail, Dr. Busia in governance, and some of the views of his contemporaries that were with him. These are excerpts from a documentary produced by his daughter, Dr. Busia. Enjoy.
I always trusted the people of God. One day, after they have suffered, they shall be better by Sunday, Sunday,
We heard Dr. Busia was coming back to Ghana. Everybody wanted to see Dr. Busia. When he got out of the plane, people just carried him shoulder. The hero had arrived.
democracy began to flow again. Busia was appointed a leader in a sense to draw up the new constitution.
The constitution was duly promulgated and elections were announced.
It is finished. The constitution of the Second Republic, and all attest to it. One by one they sign the deed. Some cases we shall see in the corridors of power in the Second Republic.
Prof. are convinced the NLC to set up the Center for Civic Education. He wanted us to emphasize on civic education. Men and women who believed, had different beliefs in political life, could still live in harmony and in fairness with one another.
Although he knew that I had been an ambassador during the recruitment, he did tell me that that is neither here nor there. We are all out to serve the nation.
After the deliberations in the morning, we will retire to the Sort of Hall House. Even the selection of party colors and symbols and all, everything was done in that house at all.
This is the Progress Party symbol. Baba was the one who came up with the party symbol, which is the rising sun rising out of dark clouds.
I am pro and yes, sure!
Stand committed to the following slogans. To every Ghanaian, a job.
It was a joy to be on the campaign trail.
To every family, a decent meal, a decent home.
It was my happiest moment.
To every person, equal opportunities and social justice.
What astonished me was the energy which he would display.
To every individual, the essential freedoms of speech and expression, freedom of movement and of association, freedom from arbitrary arrest, freedom of conscience and of worship.
I have faith in God.
To all Ghanaians, progress! Progress!
August the 29th, 1969, Election Day. A new dawn is with us. Parliament House again sees elected members after an absence of nearly 4 years. He takes the oath of office.
Prime Minister of the Republic of Ghana, do hereby, in the name of God, swear that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the Republic of Ghana as by law established.
You have handed to me, as a symbol of the transfer of power from you to a democratically elected civilian government, our new constitution. It is a constitution which seeks to place the exercise of power under restraint. It is the fruit of our recent experience. It bears the marks of our scars, our fears, and our aspirations.
It was a government made of some of the best brains in the country at that time. Among them was a young man who later on, 30 or so years later, was to become the president of the Republic of Ghana.
Maxwell also, who was prof. Is thinking of him. And he sent me to ask me what you want. I thought a second and told him. Maxwell went to Ghana to see him. And then came back. Accept to be deputy foreign minister. Therefore, accept.
On the very vulnerable government under his steps were a solid group, a united group.
We were trying to find out, how the African leaders got corrupted. And we realized that most of them at the beginning were not so corrupt, And then it was because they had people around them who wanted to keep their jobs or their influence, and therefore became gradually sycophantic. You don't see anything that will annoy the big man, even when he's talking rubbish. And so, literally, we came to this conclusion that he needed a body of people, small group, who will meet him periodically and give him their views about what was going on in a clear, candid fashion. And then to keep our independence, we don't want any jobs.
Ghana is again trying to show that democracy can work in Africa.
Your election has been hailed as a new sort of triumph for democracy in Africa, the re-establishment of the two-party system in Ghana. But there's a lot of skepticism about whether the two-party system is suited to Africa. Why do you believe that it will work in Ghana?
Because I don't share the skepticism. I believe that the ultimate have universal validity. People in Ghana love freedom, just as people everywhere. They don't like to be arrested in prison without trial. They don't like oppression and injustice.
Yes, but I agree with that. But somebody as distinguished as President Nyerere, for instance, of Tanzania, has said that the two-party system is a luxury that a developing country can't afford.
This is because of his view of the two-party system. Our view, and that which is enshrined in our constitution, is that no person or group of persons are virtuous enough to be entrusted with power without checks. We accept this. We accept that we are fallible. And even when we have the best intentions, we're likely to make mistakes. And the people must have alternatives to choose from. So our conviction in democracy is fundamental. And we must learn the tolerance and the discipline, you see, which makes us accept the fact that there are some things in which we may be wrong, and that there are some people who may serve the country better.
One thing I liked about a system then that Prophet introduced in the budget, as soon as he came to power, was to introduce the rural development levy. And so those of us in the public service who were paying a levy of 2.5% from our salary towards rural development. So then when Prof said that we should each be our brother's keeper,
maybe people do not understand it, but he meant it, that we should care for one another. He meant it.
Through the rural development program of the Progress Party government, clean water, electricity, and health care facilities.
Deep recesses of our country where they've never seen any of these things.
All these communities felt for the first time that there was a government which recognized their existence and thought about them and cared for them.
When we advocate dialogue, it is on the assumption that you cannot create a society of this kind unless there is an interchange and there is a discussion of ideas. So if you bar discussion, what you're saying is, let us fight. Now, this is not a new thing. History has shown us that you do not create permanent unions between people through the bullet. This is why I advocate dialogue. It's a human problem, a problem of human relations. If you do not start out on the faith that you can change this policy, then you don't need to start at all. And I do not believe that when people have ideas to which they stick, you can solve it by bumping them off.
But Mr. Vorster initiated this idea of dialogue with African heads of government. Given what you know about his convictions and his lifelong principles, do you really think that Mr. Vorster initiated this idea with any intention of allowing himself to be talked out of apartheid?
The fact that Vorster has turned around to say, I'm prepared to talk to you and to talk on equal terms, is itself an opportunity. I have seen a little of diplomacy, and I'm not naive enough to say merely because he has agreed to talk, he's going to change his mind tomorrow.
But don't you think he may have a motive by initiating such talks, dividing the African states?
He may have this motive. We do not need to let it succeed. We too can go in the talks with quite different motives, namely the motive of challenging his whole philosophy and the idea of getting across to him, face to face, the opposition which we have to this policy.
He knows about that already, doesn't he?
Well, then why does he want to talk?
He was a man who, when he was given money to take on his trips, checks, travel expense, he goes, he stops in London and pays his bills. He goes to Oxford and comes back, pays nothing in Oxford. So, yes, he writes everything. When we get back, he will sit in his office, work out exactly what he spent that should go to government. Everything else he will take out. And then return the remainder of the travelers' checks through me to Bank of Ghana. If you are given travelers' checks to go out, when you come back, you know that the remainder is yours. Not for profit. No. It is what was spent in connection with this travel that is out. The rest is returned. We were forced to do that. Because I didn't want him to call me one day and say, partner, did you spend all your money? For me to say, no sir, where's the rest? In my account? No. He's a good man. He was a
leaders put always in the offices.
Anyone in public office against whom a commission of inquiry has made adverse findings that while he was in office he abused his position or misused public funds should be kept out of Parliament for at least for 5 years. This is one way of trying to establish that we expect people in public office
where you have a system which is really founded on people taking account of business operations, not government operations, how do you go about actually stopping it? And how do you persuade the people giving you aid that you have effectively stopped it?
Founded. This is only by practice of the previous government. We are determined not to have 10% cuts and all that kind of thing. And since we are in the government, we can stop this. We don't intend to have it. I agree, I can see a certain disillusionment in aid. But again, we are prepared to accept the discipline that is necessary to ensure that aid goes into the projects for which they are intended.
May God, who holds the whole world in his hands, sustain us.
Sincere, passionate, forthright, and firm in his convictions, he certainly was a remarkable man, Dr. K.A. Busia. How about another round of applause? And as we celebrate his legacy, let's also, with a round of applause, celebrate all like him who have departed into glory and are looking down on us with glee and admiration.
Ministers and deputy ministers of state, members of parliament, our revered traditional rulers, and our Busia, and members of the Busia family. The General Secretary and Chairman of the Council of Elders of the New Patriotic Party, dignitaries of the MPP, members of the diplomatic corps, fellow Ghanaians, ladies and gentlemen. We're gathered here this evening to celebrate the legacy of an illustrious son of this land, a renowned scholar, a noble Ghanaian, a devoted patriot, one who distinguished himself during his time as leader of the opposition in the immediate years of independence and as Prime Minister of the Progress Party government of the Second Republic from the 1st of October 1969 to that fateful day of 13th January 1972. As the eldest child of my father, Akuffo, then President of the Second Republic, I had the privilege to witness at first hand, like our chairperson, His Excellency President John Akuffo, then Deputy Minister for Foreign Affairs, his excellent leadership skills, his vision for the development of our country, and the sacrifices he made towards the creation of the free democratic Ghana in which we live. Today, as we celebrate his legacy, we commemorate also the 105th anniversary of his birth and the 40th anniversary of his death. I dare say our nation, and indeed Africa, has not seen a more far-sighted thinker than Dr. Kofi Abrefa Busia. The overthrow of the Progress Party government meant that our country was deprived of the full impact of his agenda for development. Decades have gone to show that we turned out to be the poorer for it. We can imagine, for example, where our nation would have been now if he had been given the opportunity to develop his visionary program of rural development. Some of the ills of contemporary Ghana, such as rural-urban migration, which has been the source of much current social tension, could well have been avoided. Chairperson, ladies and gentlemen, Dr. Busia's emergence onto our nation's political scene coincided with the period when one-party state ideologies were dominant on the continent and appeared to be more appealing and relevant to developing economies. Indeed, the first president of the Republic of Tanzania, the celebrated Julius Nyerere, once described democracy as a luxury that only Western countries could afford. In his book, The Challenge of Africa, written in 1962, at the height of the Cold War, Dr. Busia demonstrated a profound understanding of the problems confronting Africa and the solutions most likely to yield lasting results. He argued against the post-colonial myth, propounded with convenient ease by Africa's first generation of leaders that multi-party democracy was allegedly a luxurious Western concept alien to African society. He said, and I quote, "The principles of democracy, freedom of speech, including the right to criticize and to make propaganda against the government, freedom of assembly and association, including the freedom to organize opposition parties and to propose alternative governments, freedom of the people to choose their governments in general elections and to change them peacefully, freedom of religion, freedom from arbitrary arrest and imprisonment without trial, the rule of law, guarantees for human rights and civil liberties. All these principles of parliamentary government are universal. They can be adopted and applied by any nation that chooses to do so. They can be institutionalized in any culture." Unquote. Dr. Busia was unequivocal that democracy cannot endure if the leaders and the people are not committed to it, if they do not understand it, or if they are not sincere to its principles.
Hello. Yes, sir.
He believed that democracy could and must work in this country. It is for this reason that patriots such as himself, Joseph Machida, Emmanuel Bechebilanti, Addo Akuffo, William Ufuriata, S.D. Dulu, D.K. Adama, Bafo Sakutu, Victor Usu, R.R. Ponsa, Joe Apia, Osebedu, Ohidebakwa Richardson, S.G. Anto, Modesto Apalu, Ashimi Kwe, Atobokan, and the others risked their lives to fight against the asphyxiation of our freedom and the incapacity of our parliamentary system to defend it. That is why on 10th December 1957, Dr. Busia observed, and I quote, "Our problem is one of nation building, and you do not do it by repressive legislation, but by education and the growth of cooperation and by leaving parties and policies to the choice of the people." Unquote. Dr. Busia believed that democracy is consolidated when a majority of the people believe that democracy is the best form of government. Or in Churchill's words, democracy is the worst form of government except for all the others. He worked through the Center for Civic Education to popularize the notion of democratic citizenship, to induce a citizenry to invest in nation building, to believe in the rule of law and the propriety of acting properly in the national interest, to combat corruption and lawlessness, and to manifest pride in nationhood. Whilst his opponents, especially those who held the reins of power in the First Republic, were fearful of individual freedom as potentially an unbridled license for adversity and destruction, Dr. Busia viewed freedom as a great ally of progress. Dr. Busia believed strongly in the crucial role that the state can play to enhance the effective freedoms of individuals. As one of the three legendary founders of the Dango Domo Busia political tradition, from which the New Patriotic Party and my government have been born, associate and assemble freely, and to vote freely, important as they are, but also about their capacity to stimulate enterprise, creativity, and innovation, and thereby provide the inspiration for rapid economic development. In committing the Progress Party, which he led to a historic victory in 1969, he said, 4, to every person, equal opportunity and social justice. 5, to every individual, the essential freedoms of speech and expression, freedom of movement and association, freedom of conscience or worship, and to all Ghanaians, progress. Dr. Busia dreamt of a Ghanaian nation at peace, prosperous and generous, a beacon of hope to Africa and the world, a proud African lion, striving into the future with confidence, secure in the knowledge that here on this continent, we are a nation of destiny.
It was a field day for Isioche and other friends who had participated in writing the article, which Professor Folsom had caused to be placed on the notice board. In fact, doing a PPE was really a very, very honorable thing in Boston. Professor Busia was later to recommend Professor Folsom also to do a PPE, like he later on did for President Akuffo. And that should tell you, he was a man whose eyes were on personnel for the betterment of this country. In my article, it was stated in the earlier that Busia was right in his call, because military regimes are known to breed continuous instability wherever they became rooted in the system, and that in the field of development, political history showed that the military was a poor instrument for national development. Instances from Nigeria, Latin America, etc. were invoked in the article, which ended that the NLC should start making arrangements for return to civilian rule immediately before anything happened. The last sentence I recall vividly was Mark Busia's words. Exactly 1 week after the Ataku attempt occurred, in which Kotoka was killed and General Ankara sought refuge in the sea through a tunnel. When the attempted coup occurred, soldiers pursued me to a Kofi hall in Lagos. Vandals joined farmers to protect me. Notably, this included Addo of CPP persuasion. The senior tutor, Mr. Uredu, now professor, assisted by calming the soldiers and allowing me to send a statement to Lagos police station. Notably, Mr. Mahmoud, editor of the Ghanaian Times, changed his position honorably and published a withdrawal. He invited me to cantonments in his residence for lunch with his Irish wife and himself, and we became very good friends ever after. He told me openly that his wife had advised him to do so. Years later, he became a Busia follower and also joined the Progress Party, won a seat for the 1969 elections, and was made Deputy Minister for Health. The important thing is that I had the opportunity to sit at high tea with Professor Busia, who appeared to be interested in virtually everybody, and J.H. Mensah as well. They schooled me on issues of development from A to Z. It was a day I will never forget. Very soon, Prodamba Busia lectures were held in Lagos, and it was a joy to be a central figure with Busia, J.H. Mensah, Dr. Joseph Furiata, and other stars lecturing us and talking to us about future development for Ghana in a manner that showed Ghana had a future. Busia in office. The Busia administration that ruled Ghana from the late 1969 to January 1972 produced a laissez-faire policy and upheld fundamental human rights and liberties. It is most pertinent to note that it remains the only regime in Ghana's political history that, before the Third and the Second Republics, in which nobody was detained for political reasons, freedom of the press flourished, and the opposition spoke freely, both in parliament and through several newspapers, including the popular spokesman, which criticized bitterly. Busia allowed it all to happen. The government rightly saw rural development as crucial to economic growth, in that it would, first of all, lay the foundation for self-sufficiency in food. Second, it will prevent the drift of young men to urban areas in search of non-existent white-collar jobs. Thirdly, it will boost the cocoa industry, the backbone of the nation's economy, by keeping the farmers on the land and making them happy and content, and also providing the roads and transportation that will make easy the cartage of cocoa and foodstuffs from the hinterland to the towns and cities. By January 1972, when General Acham staged the second major coup in Ghana, a total of 309 Ghana cities, old cities of different stature in the Busia time had been allotted for the improvement of agricultural services in Brong-Ahafo alone. Similar allocations were made in other cocoa producing areas and agricultural areas, both in animal husbandry and in crop production. Vis-a-vis this trend, the government established closer links with several developed countries, culminating in the historic visit of the wife of the President of the United States, Patricia Nixon, to Ghana unaccompanied by the President. Mrs. Nixon and her Suraj endeared themselves to Ghanaians, and it can be hardly gainsaid that it was on such a foundation that Busia hoped to establish and recover Ghana's economy. When a man sends his wife unaccompanied to a country, to another country in such circumstances, is the height of respect for the host in the circumstances. High-powered international contacts continued, and it came as no surprise when an agreement was signed for a joint Ghana-British enterprise to establish land factory in Animabu area. It was to initially employ 1,000 people in the area. Tragically, it was never completed. Secondly, a team of Canadian experts were invited to Ghana to carry out feasibility studies on an extensive agricultural and water development program in the upper region. The Dankwa, Dongo, Busia tradition will rule this country for the next 30 years. And the operative word is if. And then we'll start living again. God bless us all. I think it would be an overkill on my part to try to say anything more. We've kept the president of the state here for over 4 hours. And I'm sitting right by him, so I can tell you he's been held spellbound. Thanks to you. So thank you very much.
occasion in photographs.